Top 20 Carpenter Interview Questions and Answers. There is always a steady demand for furniture, making carpentry one of the most secure jobs in the world. Carpenters are generally contracted to create different types of furniture and work in wood projects that ordinary people may find sophisticated. In this video, we will look at some of the common interview questions for carpenters. We will cover a few areas that are likely to be assessed in such an interview, to help you boost your chances of landing the job. Therefore, prepare to be assessed on your experience, skills, and attributes that qualify you for this position. Here are some of the questions that you should look out for. 1. Why are you interested in this role? What makes you want to be a carpenter in the interviewing company? It would help if you took such opening questions seriously, since the interviewer may be trying to establish whether you are a good fit for the organization right from the start. The best approach here is to sell yourself and convince the interviewer that you will be an asset to the organization. Sample answer. I am a passionate woodworker with vast experience in this field. Your company deals in some of the items that I love making. I am therefore optimistic that I will better utilize my skills, expertise, and experience here. I also love your work policies, having interacted with some of your former employees who still talk positively about this company. 2. What are the roles of a carpenter? This is a simple question that you should not struggle to answer. The interviewer wants to know whether you understand your mandates or job description. If possible, try to find out some of the duties of carpenters in the interviewing company and tell the interviewer. Sample answer. A carpenter builds foundations, installs floor beams, lays subflooring, and installs both walls and roofing systems. They also fit and install stairs, trim doors, hardware, and molding. Other roles are measuring, joining, and cutting wood materials or wood substitutes. 3. What are some of the qualities that a carpenter needs to be effective? Every job requires a distinct set of qualities for better performance. The best way of answering this question is to mention some of the qualities that have seen you where you are. These can be attributes, skills, and behaviors. Sample answer. A carpenter should be detail-oriented to capture all the customer's needs in their work. They should have the right physical strength and stamina, given that this is a technical job. Other qualities are problem-solving skills, manual dexterity, math skills, and business skills. 4. What is the main challenge that you faced in your last job? How did you manage it? This is a question testing your problem-solving skills. The best way to approach it is by giving an experience that captures both sides of the question and paints you as a problem solver. However, do not mention a challenge that was your fault. Sample answer. Most of the challenges I have faced in my time as a carpenter cuts across different organizations. In my last job, the company contacted me to take over from a carpenter who had quit his job and moved to a different company. When going through some of his work, I realized that they did not meet my standards. I therefore had to start over and upgrade the standards of his creation, which raised the budget and got people questioning. However, they were pleased with my final work. 5. Describe your daily routine. There are two ways of approaching this question. How do you imagine your day in the interviewing company, or how does your day as a carpenter look like? If you choose to focus on the former, ensure that you show realistic expectations. Sample answer. Given that this is a home remodeling company, my day will mainly revolve around framing walls and partitions, installing doors and windows, building stairs, and generally doing home upgrades. I may also meet with my team members before and after the home remodeling projects to discuss our progress or pass important information. 6. Briefly describe your experience. The interviewer wants to know your experience with carpentry work. You can show them your work portfolio, which is a collection of your best works. However, you can also mention some of the projects you have done or places you have worked. Sample answer. This is my 10th year as a professional carpenter. I was mainly a hobbyist before joining a vocational school to learn this craft. I have worked in 5 companies and spent a more significant part of my career as a freelancer. I have vast experience dealing with a range of carpentry tools, including the most sophisticated. I also have vast warehousing experience, having spent part of my life as a warehouse worker. 7. Mention a strategy and mindset needed in this role. What strategy helps you get things done? This is usually a way of going about your operations that has proven to be successful. The mindset refers to your perspective when going about your work. Ensure that you only mention role-related strategies and mindsets. Sample answer. The best strategy for every woodworker is prioritizing work and building a team when working on a project. Teamwork ensures high accuracy and offers better results. Also, prioritizing work ensures that you are not behind schedule. As for the right mindset, one needs to be result-oriented. Since customers mainly focus on your final output, therefore, always have a vivid picture of what you need to deliver in mind. 8. What is the main challenge that you foresee in this role? An interviewer will generally ask such a question to ascertain whether you have done your research and identified a few problematic areas. However, do not mention challenges that will paint you as an incompetent employee. Sample answer. I have always been a freelancer. This is my first attempt at employment, and so I may take some time adjusting. However, I love challenges since they motivate me to be better and work harder. I am therefore more than prepared for this journey. 9. How do you stay motivated in this role? Where do you get the needed push to handle the pressure that comes with carpentry? The best approach to such a question is to mention a few intrinsic motivating factors, and not listing material benefits such as they pay. Sample answer. I always look forward to the final product when working on a project, which gives me the motivation I need. I am passionate about carpentry. Having started my journey as a hobbyist, I always ensure that I have done everything in my power to deliver a quality product to the customer or client. 10. Mention a time that you failed in this role and the lesson you learned. Can you take accountability and learn from your failures? The interviewer wants to know a bit about your experience and whether you can turn your failures into valuable lessons. You can mention an experience that started when you were still a beginner. Sample answer. I once misinterpreted a blueprint and ended up making a different thing from what the customer expected. I had to work on the project again and suffered a considerable loss. This experience taught me to always consult with the customer whenever I am in doubt and communicate consistently throughout the project life cycle. 11. You are a skilled carpenter. Why not become a freelancer? This question may find you off guard if you do not brainstorm it beforehand. Even though freelancing has its advantages, it also has its fair share of challenges. The best approach to such a question is to highlight some of the reasons why you prefer employment. Sample answer. I am a passionate woodworker with vast experience in drawing, assembling, cutting, and evaluating wood. I once had my workshop, but did not appreciate the business side of freelancing, given that it involved several activities that I am not yet prepared for. I therefore prefer being employed in a company rather than running my own business. 12. Kindly tell us some of the safety precautions that you take in your work. Without the proper precautions, you may chop your hands or get injured in the course of operations. An employer must therefore ascertain that you take safety precautions when going about your job. Mention a few measures that you undertake to keep you safe. Sample answer. I usually wear protective clothing at all times when working in the workshop. These include gloves, glasses, boots, and long-sleeved clothes. I also test power tools and avoid using blunt blades and bits, since they can result in accidents that I would rather avoid. I also ensure that I have turned off my smartphones to avoid distractions when working on my wood projects. 13. Why did you choose this profession? Interviewers usually ask this question to determine if you are enthusiastic about the job. It would help if you convinced the interviewer or hiring manager that you joined carpentry out of passion, and not because you went to a vocational school. Avoid rigid, non-convincing answers. Sample answer. I am passionate about woodwork. It started as a hobby before I decided to pursue it professionally. I enjoy seeing the results of my work, which are the finished products. I take great pride in showing my final work and people approving of them. I therefore joined this profession out of passion and love for the craft. 14. What sets you apart from other carpenters in this field? You need to understand that carpenters have different skill sets, training, and experience. The interviewer may be looking for a specific qualification before giving you the job. However, such a question offers you a chance to sell yourself. You can mention your relevant qualifications, education, and technical capacity that may fit the company's needs. Also, mention additional skills and training that may set you apart from the competition. Sample answer: I am a professional carpenter, thanks to the years I spent in vocational training. I further took additional classes in human resource management and entrepreneurship, which many carpenters do not have. I also joined this field out of passion and not in search of a career, given that it was a hobby. 15. What are some of the types of machinery that you have operated in the past? What do you feel about operating new varieties? An interviewer will ask you such a question to unravel your experience and ascertain whether you are versatile enough to learn new skills and techniques. You need to show that you are experienced with similar machinery as the companies and can operate a variety. Sample answer: I have used basic woodworking machinery and several power tools. I am therefore well versed in different carpentry tools. I have operated a forklift. Given my warehouse experience, I am also a fast learner who is constantly aching for new experiences. Therefore, I always look forward to operating new tools and carpentry machinery. 16. Kindly mention your proudest moment as a carpenter. Have you ever looked back and marveled at a creation? The interviewer expects you to have personal passions and career goals that align with the business. This will be revealed by the things that you deem as success. The best way to approach such a question is to be honest and mention one of your past successes. Sample answer: My proudest moment was when I finished one of the most challenging projects I have ever encountered in record time. I was contracted to build a deck from scratch, a job that I estimated would take a record 1 month. However, I finished it in only 3 weeks, and the customer was impressed. He referred me to his friends, who ensured I never ran out of work. 17. How do you always ensure that you produce consistent work if you are hired midway on a project? As a carpenter, you should expect to either work independently or as a team. The interviewer is therefore assessing your ability to read and interpret blueprints, come up with carpentry plans from the existing parts of the project, and whether you can meet your client's requirements. Sample answer: I was once contracted to continue building a huge king-size bed, after the contractor failed to turn up for work for months despite knowing that it was urgent. During such instances, I first inspect the state of the project and determine whether I should make a few changes to get it to my liking and standards. I would then inform the clients of these potential changes before focusing on the project. I also have vast knowledge and experience in following blueprints, which makes such instances manageable. 18. Have you ever gone out of your way to help a client? The interviewer wants to know if you are dependable. Even though your primary role is to get the job done, you should show that you have the client's interests at heart. Show that you can optimize your performance to help a client. Sample answer: I once noticed that a client had pressing structural issues when working on a home project. I decided to immediately start a conversation about the emergency procedures she needed to undertake and even helped her arrive at a solution, which they found worthy. This was not part of my job, but I felt the urge to ensure that she is safe. 19. Have you ever struggled with a deadline? Kindly tell us your experience. The interviewer is assessing your competence. Can you finish projects on time or make the necessary plans to ensure that you do not run behind schedule? The best approach to such a question is to show the interviewer that you are flexible enough and willing to adhere to strict deadlines. Sample answer: I have found myself in such situations. However, I usually ensure that I finish my work on time through teamwork. Whenever I encounter an unplanned situation that threatens my reliability in terms of deadlines, I usually meet with my team and discuss some of the things we should do to finish on time to avoid disappointing the customer. 20. Have you ever coached an apprentice? This is a common question in carpentry interviews that seek to establish whether you can share your skills and better others. show the interviewer that you are a good instructor who can impart skills to those under you and help them grow. Sample answer. I have worked with several apprentices in my line of work. Having been where they are, I understand what they need. Most of my apprentices have gone ahead to be some of the lauded carpenters in the country, winning government contracts and working for big organizations. A number have also opened their workshops and are doing well. Conclusion. These 20 recommendations sum up some of the commonly asked questions in carpenter interviews. However, make sure that you also work on your interview skills and posture before your interview. Always strive to create an excellent first impression, since the success of your interview will depend on it.